Good afternoon, everyone. So today we'll be talking about green waste management. Green waste management. The last class we looked at recycling. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the last class was, thank you. The last class was on recycling, and then I'm sure we had a good time with our facilitator in the class. So today we are moving ahead to green waste management. All right, so at the end of this section, we intend to improve participant knowledge on green waste management, and also we want participants to understand what we mean by green jobs, and then also understand the term environmental sustainability. Okay, so I will be guided by this outline. We'll look at a brief introduction. We define what green is, and then what is a green environment. We look at what is green jobs, then we look at green waste management, and the different jobs in the green jobs in the waste management section. We look at challenges and opportunities, and I'll conclude. Okay, so I'll go to the introductory part. We'll see that some environmental challenges, we see from this slide that we have some environmental challenges facing the world we live in at the moment. And then this is due to factors such as increasing population. Then we have contemporary environmental issues like climate change. These are all environmental challenges we are now. Climate change, sea level rise. We have extreme and unpredictable weather condition. We are hearing of earthquake, flood, droughts, and all of these harsh climatic effects on the environment. So climate change is a common word now to all of us. And also we have there are no access to reliable energy and then clean water. A lot of us will agree with this, that yes, we do not have access to reliable energy, and then even water, we need to, for us to get water, we need to drill our borehole. Then there is, as a result of this, we have poverty. As a result of all these environmental challenges, we have poverty on the rise, on the large number of people who rely on this environment for survival. If you take a closer look at that picture, this is a community in Lagos. And then you will see that in this picture, we have both air pollution, water pollution, and land pollution, all in this single picture. So this is telling us that yes, we have some environmental challenges, and then we as people in the environment, we are impacted by all these challenges. So this global challenge of climate change and environmental degradation, it has led to the preference for a sustainable approach. Because of all these challenges, people are now looking for options. What are the sustainable options? What can we do to get it right? What can we do to make it better? And then some of this approach include mitigation of climate change and environmental degradation. We are looking at, okay, what can we do? People are now coming together because of all these impacts to see what can be done to improve the condition, their environmental condition, and also to deliver social development and decent work. Yes, we want to work, but we want our work to be done in such a way that we have minimal impact on the environment, and also to promote sustainable development. So people are looking in this line, sequel to the various environmental challenges as highlighted in the slides before. So what is green? In all of this, how does green comes in? We may begin to wonder that what has green got to do with all of this? So in an environmental context, green is not just color. Green typically refers to practices or technologies and choices that are environmentally friendly and sustainable. Like I have said, we will see that naturally the land, it's common that we say the land is green. If you look at a pristine environment, a virgin environment, the predominant color is green because of the vegetations and then the trees and all of that. So what can we do to restore this built environment into that green nature? So green is not just a color. Green is there are conscious choices that we make. There are practices, there are things that we do to make sure that we restore the environment back to that pristine and very conserved nature. It is often associated with effort to reduce the negative impacts of our activities on the environment and to also to conserve, how can we conserve resources and promote the ecological balance. Also, this is often associated with sustainability and creation of a more ecologically balanced and resilient world, like we have said. How do we make our environment sustainable and more livable and more convenient for us? So when we talk green, this is the context in which we look at it from the environmental perspective. So this also reflects commitment to making choices that have a positive impact on the environment and also contribute to the long-term well-being of the planet. So these are all what I've been able to summarize, that yes, we are looking for a way to restore the environment to a more pristine and then a sustainable one, and to ensure that yes, all of us in this environment, we are not adversely impacted by as a result of our activities on our environment. So I'm sure with what I've said, we'll be familiar with the green environment. Like I said, the green environment is an environment that is very close to nature, that is pristine, that is conserved, that is not that much polluted. So like I said, when you see a virgin land, the predominant color there is green. So a green environment is defined as the economic operations relating to the production, distribution, and the use of commodity and services to prevent significant environmental risk and ecological scars, and contribute to a long-term increase in human well-being and for future generations. So all of these are what I've been able to summarize in my definition of green. Then coming from the numerous environmental impacts leading to environmental degradation, and also people now making conscious efforts to restore or to reduce the impacts of these activities on the environment through vis-a-vis the things that we do, how we operate the industry, in our industries, in our home. And then these are some of the things that we consider when we're talking about green and a green environment. Going green doesn't just benefit the planet, it also helps us to save money. Yes, I'll give an example of when we decided to change from buying bottles to taking bottle from our water dispenser. We all know now that a bottle of water is now 200 naira. And then, for example, today, if I were to buy water today, I will have bought like 2 bottles. But all the while, I've been taking water from my dispenser. So it may look little, but I've been able to save myself a whooping sum of 400 naira today, just by doing it right, just by having, let me say, going green, shifting to a more sustainable option of practices. So it also saves us money, time, and resources. And then when we go further, we'll realize that some of the things we need to do is also to promote recycling, to promote the use of materials. And then when we do this helps us not to rely so much on natural resources. It reduces the number of times we need to go back to explore the natural resources, to extract natural resources for production of new materials. So it ensures that we keep these materials in use for as long as possible. All right, so what are the characteristics of a green environment? According to the World Health Organization, a green environment we have clean air, stable climate, adequate water, sanitation and hygiene, safe use of chemicals, protection from radiation, healthy and safe workplaces, sound agricultural practices, earth supportive cities and built environments, and preserved nature, which are all prerequisites for a good health. So at this point, I would like to ask, how green is our environment? And then I want us to contribute now. Based on this, based on the World Health Organization description of a green environment, how green is our environment? So I will need us to contribute before I go forward. Okay.
Okay, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Not actually green. It's not green enough. Not at all. In some area, it's not even green. In some area, not green enough. So basically for me, I
Thank
would
you.
say 20%.
20%, I like that. Okay, so let's take other. I have Mr. Alabi, or is it Alabi?
Okay.
Yes. Alabi, please, how green is your environment? Okay, that's Mr. Taiwo.
Yes,
Madam
to me,
said 20%, yeah.
how green is my environment? We have to look at it from two ways. It depends on the location.
Okay.
Then also, if you are looking at maybe the rural area and the urban area, to me, the rural area is more greener than the urban area due to industrialization, pollution here and there. So the rural area is more greener than the urban area due to industrialization.
2 questions for you, Mr. Taiwo. Do you
Okay.
live in the rural or in the urban area?
I live in the urban area, and in the urban area, we have a lot of vehicular emission. We have a lot of generator emission because due to power failure in the country. So every single household run on generator. So there's a lot of emission. And even in most cases, there's not even space for you to even plant trees that can even give us little of oxygen. Then when it comes to waste management, not really well planned, although the estate is well planned, but the pickup is an issue. But in my own case, be a recycler, I sort my waste at source, and I try to converse within the estate too for people to separate their waste. So the area where I am is an urban area.
I would like you to hold that thought. We are coming to our individual efforts. So based on the description of your location, how green is it? That's the first question. How green is your area? Just give us,
I say it's 45%.
Wow, it's yes, that's 45%. Okay. And then I would like to also say that, see, most times pollution is not location specific. There was a time we conducted a study, and then we tried to look for a very pristine area as the control. What we are trying to look for is air pollutant. And then we decided to use a very pristine, in Lagos. I'm sure you agree that NCF is a place we'll consider as a place that's close to nature. And then we have some other location in Lagos as control. And then we choose some locations with worst case pollution scenario. And then it was amazing for us to know that even in those control locations, we still have high value of PM 2.5 and PM 10, which are the major pollutants we are looking for at that time. So oftentimes, yes, I agree that the rural area are assumed to be cleaner, but sometimes they are not as clean as we envision it to be, based on activities around in adjoining or in other communities. That is why pollution sometimes, when we talk climate change, some countries will say we are not polluting as much as those industrialized or developed countries, but we are all feeling the impact. So it's just to also to mention that sometimes pollution is not location specific. Most times, some places we assume they are green or they are clean, they are not as green as we assume that they are. But in all, we know that yes, the environment is being polluted. And then I agree with you that yes, the rural area are supposed to be more greener than the urban center. Okay, so we have 45% from your location, and Adamesa said 20. So I go back to Alabi. So Alabi, I need you to talk to us. How green is your environment? Alabi? Okay, Alabi is not responding. Can I go to Sadiq? Sadiq, oh, Sadiq left. Shidi, I think I have Shidi on the call. Yeah, I have Shidi on the call.
Good afternoon, ma.
Yes,
Yes,
good
ma.
afternoon. So I will need you to contribute. How green is your environment based on all these criteria?
If I should, based on what you have mentioned so far in terms of climatic change and all the pollution and all the rest, I think I will go with the first person that said 20%.
Okay.
Thank
So
you, ma.
thank you. So if we have 20%, if you have 45%, along the line, we are now going to look at what can be done. And at that point, Mr. Taiwo is going to help us a lot because he is a recycler. At least he has given us a clue now that he's a recycler. So we'll be doing this together today. And then I would like to also know other recyclers on this platform so that, yes, we can look at this together. All right, so let's go to the next slide. So in all, we've agreed that we do not have an absolute or very green environment, right? So what are the key aspects of green in the environmental context? So one of it, and which is what most people will, are talking about now, or what people are trying to do now, is renewable energy. There is an increase, let me not say agitation now, there is a crave now for renewable energy source of energy. You now have solar panel, a solar panel being installed for electricity, and then people are looking for alternative sources to the regular hydroelectric power. So one of the things we consider in the environmental context as being green is retrofitting or changing or the transitioning to a cleaner form of energy, renewable energy, green energy sources like solar, wind, hydroelectric, geothermal power. These are all considered environmentally friendly alternative to traditional fossil fuels because they produce fewer greenhouse gases and have a lower environmental impact. Like Mr. Taiwo rightly said, yes, a lot of this environment are polluted with emissions from generators, stationary sources of energies like generator. A lot of, aside from environmental pollution, we have noise pollution from such sets. So looking at renewable energy is an option that we consider in environmental context. Also, we look at sustainable agricultural practices. This focus on minimizing the use of harmful chemicals. These chemicals, after being absorbed by the soil, sometimes they are being the plant uptakes some of them, and then most of the time what we eat are not fully organic or fully healthy. We take some of these alongside the plant or the fruit. Okay, so we want to promote minimize the use of harmful chemical by promoting the use of compost or organic or other organic sources of soil amendment or soil fertilizers. We want to promote the soil health and conserve water resources. And this also include organic farming, agroforestry, and permaculture. These are all some of the sustainable agricultural practices that we consider in the environmental context. Another one is waste reduction and recycling. So green initiatives aims to reduce waste generation. A lot of us are familiar with the tree house, even though we have some people, we have 5 houses, the 10 house, as many houses as possible, all telling us that we must consciously reduce waste generation. And then once you cannot, once the waste are being used, you also look at reusing them. We are also promoting reusing of waste and then recycling. All these are just towards our aim to minimize the environmental impact of disposal. Imagine if we have to, that's why we are looking at circular economy now. We're looking at transitioning to a circular approach, whereby we take, we use, and we do not discard or dispose, but we also give, we also put it back into the circulation, and then use to produce again, and then the cycle continues. So we're looking at a more sustainable and circular approach to minimize waste through reduction, through recycling and conversion. Okay, so we've talked about energy efficiency. So green building design and energy efficiency technologies, these are also done to reduce energy consumption and decrease the environmental footprint of buildings and infrastructure. So those in the engineering sector, the civil engineers, they are also now looking at energy efficient buildings. Now, would buildings that will reduce carbon footprint. They are looking for a way to reduce carbon footprint from buildings, and then the architects are also looking at ways to promote natural ventilation, and whereby you reduce the dependency on electric or other power sources, and then you rely on some natural ecosystem services for the functioning of such structures. So we have buildings now that are energy efficient, and then even in homes, we are talking about retrofitting the energy to ensure that, yes, we minimize our carbon footprint. Okay, so another thing we talk about in the environment sector is conservation of biodiversity. So biodiversity, by this we mean that we have different life forms. Like we are human, we have other life forms. We have the bacteria, we have the fungi, we have the trees, we have the shrubs, we have these different animals you can see in the slide. So these are all life forms. So biodiversity means that as living organisms, we are different in our genetic makeup and in our function. We are different. So we have some organisms in the water, we have some on the land, we have some in the air. So these different life forms are what we refer to as biodiversity. So effort to protect and preserve the ecosystem, to prevent ecosystem and biodiversity are considered also as green initiatives. We don't want to kill all the wild animals. We don't want to clear all the trees, and we don't want them to kill human being. We are trying to conserve nature and also to conserve man. So these all include the establishment of protected areas, conservation programs, and sustainable forestry practices. So for us to achieve this, we must be looking at areas that can be preserved, where nature can be preserved, and we're not considering all wild animals as bush meat, thereby making all of this go into extinction. Also, so another environmental consideration is the use of eco-friendly products. Green products are those designed with minimal environmental impact throughout their life cycle, from raw material extraction to manufacturing to use and disposal. We see that in Lagos recently, there was a ban on styrofoam and other single-use plastic. We are promoting reuse, and then we want manufacturers to begin to consider the recyclability of their product or their materials. Most of these single-use plastic and styrofoams, they are the ones that block our drains, and when it rains, they make our environment liable to flooding. So these are some of the things that we are looking at in the environmental context, switching to more eco-friendly products that will have minimal impact on our dear environment. Also in transportation, green transportation, this involves the use of using modes of transport that produce fewer emissions. You could see now that we have electric cars, and then we have some hybrid cars, and then also possibly considering cars that runs on biofuels or other natural gases. So by this, we can reduce emissions from transportation. And then also there's the use of promoting the use of bicycles that does not have the need for fuel. And then carpooling. This maybe when 5 or 6 of us are going to a place, instead of all of us going with our cars, we can decide to come together and use just one car, thereby reducing emissions from the other cars that would have otherwise been on the road. And also embracing the use of public transportation as much as possible. This also includes initiatives to reduce the carbon footprint of shipping and in aviation. Another thing we consider when we talk about green environment is water conservation. Green practices that aims to conserve water resources through efficient water use, wastewater treatment, and implementation of technology that reduce water wastage. What are we saying by this? I'm sure we now know that in some hotels or some buildings, they now have taps that have remote sensor. What will I say it now? That can sense when you are close to them. So we now have taps, or how will I say it now? That anytime you want to use the water, when you put your hand, you can sense it, and then you dispense the water, and it gives you as much as you need, then it stops flowing. So these are all means to ensure that yes, we promote sustainable use of water. Another very common habit is people brushing. You know, when you want to brush, oftentimes people just run the tap and then they start brushing. And then what we can do is use a cup to get your water and then to brush, so that you reduce the amount of water wastage from that activities. All right, so sustainable water conservation. We talk about green jobs. Green jobs are classified as jobs in business that produce goods or services that benefit the environment or conserve our natural resources. So in all of these I've mentioned, there are jobs that are created, there are peoples, there are personnel that are needed to do this job. So once you are involved in this, you can consider yourself as being a part of people that are in that green job space. So these are jobs that aims towards to reduce environmental impact and material use. Now, I will now go to what is green waste management. So from all of this, okay, let me go back. Let me just go back and take somebody's thoughts. From all of this, from the green to the green environment to the actions that we take, or the environmental consideration about green, what do you think is green waste management? If I ask what is green waste management, what can you say? What can you say is green waste management? Can somebody try to define green waste management? I'm waiting. Can somebody please define green waste management?
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, so from our own perspective, now that we are going green, we are going circular, and we are switching from one alternative to the other. And I'm sure they have lifespan. For instance, if you are talking about solar, there are some of these solar that you need a battery for inverter and so on. So after maybe 25 years or 10 years after their last span, what happened to such green waste? So, so when you talk of the green waste, so how do you manage such that, okay, now you are using battery, you are using electric, but I'm sure they have a lifespan. After the lifespan, they become a waste. What happened to them, and how do we undo them?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. That's well said, sir. So do we have any other contribution? Thank you, Mr. Taiwo. Any other contribution? I think I have Olanrewaju. Olanrewaju, you want to talk to us? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Yeah,
Good afternoon, sir.
yes, ma'am. So I actually wanted to say something about green waste management,
Okay.
and I wanted to mention about phytoremediation,
Okay.
how we manage wastes as with the help of plants, right? And how we also manage some kind of contamination using plants, and other than some kind of processes that could probably contribute to emission of gases and increasing carbon footprint. Then another important one is the use of circular economy as an approach to promote green waste management, whereby we look for alternatives and also emphasize on reduction, of materials at inception of our operation, and find alternative means of integrating some of these materials to back to the operation.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that wonderful contribution. Okay, so you are hiding this wonderful thoughts. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Olanrewaju, and thank you, Mr. Taiwo. So, yes, well said, well said. So I go to my slide on green waste management. And I said the solid waste management sector is an essential service that is crucial to sustaining public health and the environment. Someone just talked about using circular economy as an approach to promote green waste management. So I agree with you that yes, this is one of the things we're talking about. And then the need for sustainable and environmentally conscious waste management practices, it cannot be overemphasized as the challenges, like Mr. Taiwo said, most of these things, they have their lifespan. We have to also look at how to effectively manage this waste after their life span. All right. So greenery of waste management sector is one of the identified solutions to these challenges. When we say we're making the waste management green, that means we are also transitioning to greener approach that will promote reduce, reuse, recycling, circular economy, sustainable development, and then other things that we can do from this sector to ensure that we also contribute to saving our dear environment. Okay, green jobs in the let's look at some green jobs in the waste management sector. And then, like I said, these are positions that focus on reducing, reuse, and recycling waste, as well as promoting sustainable waste management practices. So basically, this is what we are looking at when we talk about greening the waste management industry. So these jobs can be found in a variety of settings across the public and private sectors, as well as NGO. We know that, for example, taking Lagos as a case study, LOMA is the public entity. We have a lot of private recyclers, and we have a lot of NGOs and other bodies trying to support waste management in those cities in Lagos State. So a sample of green jobs, I said recycling coordinators, recycling across all the value chain. And then the coordinators, they work with business, educational institutions, and other organizations to implement waste recycling programs. So you can decide to be a consultant or a recycling coordinator, or even a recycler. If you are doing this, you are working in the green space. And then we have also composting specialists. These are experts that work with food waste and other organic material to create compost and soil enhancer from organic waste. So we have people also that specialize in this sector, and then composting, promoting soil health and efficient food production. Then we have waste reduction consultants. These are consultants that work with businesses and organizations to identify opportunities for reducing waste and improving sustainability. Like I said, yes, these are environmental consultants, and one of the two things they look at is the holistic operation or production process in a company, and see how they can minimize waste and also improve profit and efficiency. So we have also sustainable material management specialists. Like now we talk about designing waste from the production line. We don't want to start managing waste after the waste has been created. We want to start with management from the conceptualization or design or production space. So we have people that also work in this space, sustainable material management specialists. They work with businesses and organizations to develop materials and technology to reduce, recover, recycle, and also to manage waste from their operations. So we have a lot more. We have everything that has to do with waste conversion from one form to the other, waste to energy, waste to compost, to environmental or waste management consultancy, and then all of this is along the value chain, from the collectors to aggregators to the pre-processors to the processors. All of these are playing crucial role in the waste management sector, and they are considered as the people that are helping to sustain the environment as a whole. So what are the benefits of green jobs in the solid waste management sector? These, we have environmental benefits, the economic benefits, and then the social benefits. So I'm going to project my slide, and then I will ask for more contribution. When we talk about environmental benefits, green jobs help to reduce the amount of waste to landfill, which can help to mitigate climate change and protect public health. In terms of economic benefits, it creates new economic opportunities and stimulates local economies. And then it also helps to improve it provides a source of livelihood for people at the lowest level to from the low to high level, because we have key players at different stages, from the pickers to the highly industrialized or commercialized recycling operators or companies. The social benefits, it helps to improve community health and well-being. It improves the aesthetics of the environment, and then it reduces exposure to toxic chemicals and also promotes sustainable practices. So aside from this, what are the other benefits of green jobs in the waste management sector? What other benefits, be it environmental, economic, or social, or if you have any other categories or that you want to share with us, what do you think are the other benefits that we can get from going green in the waste management sector?
Okay, can I come in?
Yes, sir, you can.
Okay, I'm going to determine the 4 P's. That means P in 4 places. So the first P is the planet, which is the environment where we live in. That's the first P, the planet. Then the second P are the people living in the environment, because we are talking about green and so on. So the people in that environment. Then the third P, I call the profit, because like you said, there are career and so on. People in this career and people in the business are there to make profit from the environment. Then the last P is partnership, collaboration. So the 4 P's work perfectly for this topic. So there's no way we talk about greening or talking about green waste and so on without looking at the people, the environment, the profit, and partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I think I love that. So do we have any other contribution aside from the 4 P's? Planet, people, profit, and partnership. Do you have any other contribution? What are the other benefits of going green in the green waste management sector? Okay. Who do I call again? Okay, Mr. Lanrewaju, do you want to help us? So, Madam Esther, what other benefits? Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I think another benefit that I will take to it is even the environment itself benefit. And what do I mean by the environment? Just like the first speaker said, that is the people that are involved. So because after all this, the things you've talked to us about, after it has come into play, then there is a change and there is an orientation that things has to be done another way. And in the long run, it bets a new orientation in the environment, in the way people do things. And as well, economically, it brings forth, I would say breakthrough, because like a job creation opportunity in the long run. That's just what I
Thank
can
you
say for
very much. Job creation opportunity. Thank you very much. I love that. Okay. Do we have any other person that wants to contribute? Any other contributions? Okay. Thank you very much. Those were well said. So, what are some of the challenges facing the solid waste management sector? I will agree, one of it is limited funding. To go green involves some financial investments. Funding for sustainable waste management practices are not readily available, as government agencies and private companies struggle to secure such. And then we know that waste management is capital intensive. And then for us to transition or change or start implementing operate a recycling facility or any other means of ensuring that, for example, changing from, let me use what is current in Lagos, from styrofoam to other alternative sources. We realize that, and most people talk often about baggers. Now, looking at the cost of transitioning from styrofoam to producing the same food packaging material from burger requires high sum of money and a lot of technological change. So these are some of the things. And then even changing from regular power supply to alternative sources, like using of solar panel and inverters and all of this, we see that it requires a huge sum of money to at the initial. So most of this transitioning involves a lot of funding that are not readily available. Then also the lack of public awareness. Many of the people are not aware. Dr. Mesa talked about orientation that leads to changes. They are not aware of the importance of sustainable waste management practices and the benefit of green jobs. A lot of people are not even bothered about the way they dispose or the way they contain their waste. So we still have a lot of these challenges. And trying to get people to source from waste or recycle takes a lot of effort and then requires a lot of awareness and sensitization. So these are some of the challenges, people's behavior and people's disposition to waste. Lots of people still do not even want to pay for waste management services. And we've talked about inadequate funding, and then we are not getting people's cooperation to pay for these services. So this will tell on development or the transitioning to a sustainable waste management system. Also, we have technological limitations. The solid waste management sector is often hindered by outdated technologies and infrastructure and a lot of technical know-how. So we still need to capacity building to operate and manage and even to understand a lot of these new or contemporary waste management technologies. So we have a lot of technical gap. And then in the sector, awareness, is lack of awareness, people's attitude, and segregation from source, and all of that. A lot of people believe that waste is a problem for the government. A problem should holistically be responsible for waste management, and then not realizing that waste management begins with the individual, the people. We still have a lot of indiscriminate dumping on our highways and major roads. So these are some of the issues and the challenges being encountered in the solid waste management sector in an effort to transition to a more sustainable approach. So in conclusion, we have explored the present challenges posed by our current waste management practices and the compelling need to transition toward greener solutions through initiatives like composting, recycling, and proper waste segregation. I want to say that we have the power to significantly reduce our environmental footprint while simultaneously nurturing our communities and ecosystem as individuals. We talk about lack of awareness. Now, one of the purpose of this program is to increase awareness and empower people to be more involved in the waste management operation. And then by informing the people, we are saying that yes, we also it also lies on us to also sensitize people in around us and people in our circle of influence. It's important also that we pass this message across to people so that everybody can do it right. As stewards of this planet, it's incumbent upon us to take action. We cannot just sit down and hold our hands. Yes, we have this knowledge, but it is also important that we pass it across and then we do our bit. I like to use this quote anytime I have the opportunity, that the greatest threat to the environment is the belief that someone else is coming to save it. We should all see ourselves as stewards and environmental champions that is propagating and promoting change in the environment. Each small step we take towards responsible waste management contributes to a larger, more sustainable future for generations to come. And this is when we talk about sustainable development as development that meets the needs of today and also do not deprive the future generation of the needs to the same facility or amenities or the same good environment. So we must live in such a way that we do not completely deplete natural resources that is being bestowed upon us by Mother Earth. So we must not underestimate the impact of our individual and collective effort. We are saying that the government cannot do it alone. The private sector also needs to be involved. The NGOs need to be involved. At the community level, we all need to come together to embrace this change. Together, we can turn the tide on waste pollution, conserve our precious resources, and also mitigate the impact of climate change if we all decide or make conscious efforts to do the right thing. So it is important to commit ourselves to embracing green waste management practices in our homes, workplace, and community. The time to do so is now. So if we have not been so involved or we have not been doing as much, we are saying that yes, the time to do the right thing is now. The time to move is now. The time to tell someone is now. The time to start engaging people to start doing what they should do is now. Mr. Taiwo was telling us about segregating from source and then the efforts, individual efforts he is putting in place because he is aware. So there is need for us to increase awareness and also get a lot of people involved in this process. So, like I said, we would like to look at individual level. What are the things that we have done, or what are the things we are doing to improve the environment or to make the environment green? We all agree that our environment is not green, but what are the things you have done, or what are the things you think can be done to ensure that this environment moves towards green. Maybe now it's red or yellow, but we want it to be green. Okay, so let's just take one contribution or the other, and I will start with mine. I think first of all, the most important action I've taken is to ensure that anytime I'm going for to the market, I go with my reusable bag, and then I try as much as possible to reduce the what do we call it now, bags, this polythene bags or nylon bags from the market, especially when I go to buy my frozen food or the fish or turkey. So I have a dedicated container that I take, and anytime the woman sees me, the first thing she asks for is my container. So this was a decision I made like 2 years ago. Though it may be little, but I know that I am directly impacting the environment. So I'll go back to Mr. Taiwo to tell us, he was trying to tell us what has been done at the individual level, and then we take one or two more thoughts before we close the class. So Mr.
Okay,
Taiwo, can you speak to us on the efforts you have made to ensure that you also contribute to this, to
okay. So
cleaner?
the effort I've made so far as a recycler is that I make sure every waste generated, in fact, I don't call it waste, I call it resources, because I have to separate the nylon, the can, and the aluminum, and even sometimes the food waste. I have a small space at the back of the house that do compost. So I almost every time the PSP come, they only have little things to pick, because I make sure I separate every single item. Then in time of electricity and so on, I make sure all the bulbs are energy saving bulbs. And any lights I don't need to switch it on. I switch them off, both at home, even in the office. And even sometimes I don't even need to on the AC or the fan. Once the windows are open for fresh air and ventilation, then I also try as much as possible to promote tree planting. That once you fell one tree, then you should be able to plant five back in return. And what I do in most cases, maybe when it is my birthday, that for my birthday, I want to plant so amount of trees and so on. So these are the little things I do. Then also sometimes too, I do sensitization, because there are sometimes I don't drive. Maybe I enter public buses, and you see some people, once they finish eating, they just throw it into the bus or they fling it from the window. And when you challenge them, they tell you, but the buses doesn't have a waste basket. That is better you even drop it in the car, even keep it in your pocket and train it out. And there was a very funny case whereby somebody threw it out from the window, and I said, "Why do you have to do that?" I said, "If I don't do that, how will Loma engage the street sweepers? They won't have anything to sweep." So you can see people mentality at times too.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Yes, I agree with you. Thank you. So, Sadiq, do you want to talk to us? I don't think you've spoken to us today. Yes, Sadiq Modia, you're welcome.
Yes, ma. Good evening, ma. Well done, ma.
Thank you.
According to the explanation and the lecture being given, based on the awareness that I've been doing in my environment, first of all, sensitize the people around me, also in public places. Whenever I'm in a congregation, I always lecture people on the best way to manage our waste, and also limitation on waste in our environment. Like myself, I have special packages for the solid and liquid waste, organic matter that I usually pack one side, because in my area about here is not too far from my house, so sometimes I need to take some my organic waste there to sell. Also, I sensitize my students in the school, also my people that are not that does not have more knowledge on waste. I used to sensitize them the best way of making everywhere clean and ventilated at all time. Thank you, ma.
Kudos to you, ma. Thank you very much, ma. Can we
You're
have
welcome.
Shidi? Shidi, do you want to talk to us? What are the actions that have been taken, or what do you plan to do after this section? Thank you. Shidi,
Thank
you
you.
have the floor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ma.
Afternoon, sir.
As a waste speaker, we have been doing a lot, even in our group, in our as well. There was a time we went for
I agree with
sensitization.
you.
We
Mm-hmm.
went around with a mic telling people what and what they are not to throw, to how to separate their waste from the house, from the source, how to separate the nylon, the can, the all the carton, papers, all the rest. Even in my environment now, there are some schools I've gone to tell them that you don't need to dispose all these things. Gather them and keep them. I will come for them. Some even call me to come and see. Even ordinary plastic or nylon, I do the same. Not for only for the benefit of the money involved. Since I became aware that by so doing, we are helping our environment, even directly or indirectly, we might not know. So those are one of the things. And the another thing, I don't go anywhere and trash anything out. No matter how little, I will put it in my bag. I will come back home with it. Even before joining all these steps, I never buy the idea of eating and throwing anyhow. And anytime I see myself in a function, I also do as well. Make sure that some of those things that they will later throw out and it will become rubbish in the gutter and block the drainages, I do gather them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Esa, do you want to talk to us about your efforts
Well, where
or what
I
you
am is a
intend to
bit
do
noisy,
going
but
forward?
what I would just add, like, mine is more waste and trees. Like yesterday, I was opportune to speak to a club, Lions Club, and they were like, this is their environment month. That was April. They were supposed to carry out a project. They were like, okay, we have to plant trees. And I said, please come around this particular area, come and plant trees. Because to be sincere, even the Lagos state government, I'm sorry to say this, they are even doing a lot of harm to the environment. For example, when there are constructions of roads and all the rest, after the construction, even places where, maybe in front of houses where you have trees planted, the next thing is that there's no more trees. All you have now is, what do you call it, concrete slabs and all the rest. So for me, is plant more trees. Then another one is waste. Like in the environment where I live, down Isaliaru Nobawole, what we do through ASWA was to give residents bags. And we tell them you can make money. Because to be sincere, for Nigerians, anything that is not bringing money their way, they look at it as if, what are you talking about? This is jargon. But when you tell them this thing will fetch you money, they are like, okay, tell me more. How do I go about it? And we told them, okay, see, your bottles that you use in your house, keep it in a particular place. The one for Coke, the one for oil and all the rest, your malt can and all the rest, your nylon, your paper, you can actually make money. And the first woman that did that in her street, I think she got around 6,000 or 500,000, 5,500. And she was like, ah, wow, I don't even know I can make money from my waste. And from there, this orientation is beginning to go around that, okay, you can make money from your waste. And
Thank you
at
very
times,
much, ma'am.
schools, we let the cleaners know that, okay, these children, as they are generating, you can pack it. Because most often the waste that we get from as well, some of our members, is through some schools, environment, organization, companies, and the rest. So that is just what I can say how we have been able to impact my own environment. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, ma. Thank you for those wonderful. You people are doing a lot, and a lot of people are doing a lot, a lot. And I hope that,
In addition, ma,
okay, okay, I'm with you. You can proceed.
in addition, ma, as for today, ASWOL had advocacy on the use of waste. According to Mrs. Esther, she has elaborated more on it. We are at Ogba Oluwole today for the sensitization of the best way to manage our waste, the advantages of manage the waste, be it the solid, the the liquid ones, the one that are best to use as an agricultural work, and also the best way to be keeping this waste. Even if the lawmans are not around to pack it, you must know how to make your environment clean. We show them different kind of ways. Even go around the estate, pick all the waste around the area. Even we have many people that are coming out with their waste, showing us that they are comply with us, that they will keep on making the environment clean as the government wants it to be. Aswal has been doing a great job on that, and we shall continue to be doing it. Thank you, ma.
Thank you for that commitment. And I think this is a good way to stop the class today. I am so much delighted that at the level of our involvement and awareness and a lot of things that we are doing. And like I was saying before, yes, we are ready to take this further. It's good that we have more members of Housework also tell us about their impact story. So we'll have more engagement whereby we'll be able to see face to face, and then we'll be able to take this discussion further. So I think this is a good way to stop for me, except if we have any other comments or questions or contribution from participants. Do we have further questions or comments or contribution? Okay,
Oh, ma.
so
We are okay for today.
I'm with you. Yes, you can go on, ma.
I say for today, I think we are okay. We really enjoyed the lecture. Thank you, ma.
All right, so I enjoyed myself too, and I like our contribution. I want to implore that we continue to contribute. This is the only way we can learn from ourselves. And also to chip this in that on the relocation of trees during construction, to say that we have the Lagos State Parks and Garden Agency, which is responsible for trees in the state. And then I got a first-hand information now that most of the time, those trees you don't see again, they are relocated, they are being relocated somewhere for transplants. And then the owner of the property usually pay for these services. They pay for the trees to be transplanted somewhere else. So that was information I got about those trees that disappeared during construction. So once they remove that, the owner of the property pay for them to plant 5 in another location. So that is what is obtainable in Lagos. So like I said, when we have the opportunity to come together, we can take this conversation forward. For me, I would say that I enjoyed the class today, and I'm so glad that we all share our thoughts, and then we contributed to making this class fun and then interesting.
Lively.
So thank you very much for your time. See you at the next
Thank you
class.
so much, ma.
Thank you, ma.
Bye.
Bye.